gentlemen, well, we are back again as promised for night 2 of Wrestlemania. So, I am going to preface this by saying, once again, if you have not watched night 2, turn off this video because there will be spoilers. Otherwise, you can continue to watch and hear me bitch about night 2. So, I'm going to go through the list. I'm going to start right off the bat with the first match of the night, which was Omos versus Brock Lesnar. So, if you know anything about wrestling at all, expectations were very low for this match because neither one of them has a good wrestling moveset. And as expected, I think you could probably count on 2 hands the amount of moves that they did throughout the match. So, right off the hop, I didn't think much of that fact that neither one of them could really do much in terms of wrestling, per se, so they couldn't do any moves. The one highlight of the match was indeed when Brock Lesnar did get almost up for an F5. I did think that, that was very cool. But other than that, the match was pretty... I would give this match, only because the F5, a 4 out of 10. If it wasn't for that, I would have given it a 2 or 3. And as for the winner of the match, that was the other part with this. Brock Lesnar did not need to win this match. He's already established enough, so I don't understand the logic about making Omos take the loss here. It just did not it didn't make sense to me. So for all of that, 4 out of 10. The second match was the women's showcase match, featuring Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalia and Shotzi versus Natalya and Shotzi, oh my god, Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler, and Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. So if you watched video 1, I said a lot of good stuff about the showcase match on night 1. I am not going to say as much good about night 2. This showcase match did not feature as good. There was a lot of botches. And overall, just was a sleeper. It just made me yawn the entire time. So, I can't even think of one point in the match that really blew me away. Anything that anybody did. And it went exactly the way I expected it was going to go with Ronda and Shayna winning. So, based on all that, I'm going to give this match a 4.5 out of 10. Now, the next match, in my opinion, was probably the match of the night. And that was Gunther versus Drew Mac versus Sheamus for the Intercontinental title. This match, in the beginning, it was a little slow going. Like, you could tell the crowd wasn't feeling it for about the first probably 5 minutes of the match. But after that, I think they started to ramp up, and the match actually got really good. So I was very impressed by the athleticism of all 3 of them, and they're not small men, they're all pretty big men, and they all managed to make this interesting. And having Titus O'Neil out there on the commentary made it that much better. So based on all of that, I still don't think it was as good as the best matches in night 1. But it was probably the match of the night in night 2, and I would give it, I think I'll give it a 7 out of 10. So the next one was another Miz cut. So much like night 1 where Pat McAfee came out, they pulled a surprise where the Miz ended up having another opponent come out against him, and it turned out to be Shane McMahon. This This promo kind of went all ways sideways almost immediately because the first move Shane tried to do, he blew out his quad, as was reported today. So he was injured immediately as soon as the match started. So fortunately, it looked like they had a spot planned with Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg was able to improvise an ending to the match that made sense, which I liked. So, just based on that, and the fact that Snoop Dogg was able to make it somewhat believable, I'm gonna give this one a 5.5 out of 10 for this segment. So the next match was Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I had high expectations for this match, and it was a very athletic match, but there was nothing that really kept my attention in the match. Like, there was no moment where I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, the match was kind of went the way I expected it to go. There was no huge pop. It just didn't do it for me. And I'm not surprised Bianca was able to retain. So, so I would give this match probably I'm going to say 5.5 out of 10. Alright, so we got 2 matches left. So we have Demon Finn Balor against the Brood Edge. So my biggest complaint about this match was the entrance. I thought they were going to lean into Brood Edge more than they did. They teased it very, very briefly, and then they switched to his normal rated R music, which I was like, they should have played into the Brood a little bit more. Maybe had Gangrel come out with Edge would have been a nice homage. So I was a little disappointed with the entrance. The match itself was very, very good. And you know what? I take back what I said earlier about the Gunther match, because I think this one match might have been even a little bit better. But it was close. So this one here, the biggest thing that happened during the match, Finn got an injury very early on in the match and was able to play through it. He took a ladder to the head and cracked his head wide open, which apparently has been shown on social media today. And I've seen the pictures, so he really was injured. And he managed to complete the match and do it in an interesting way. This match kept me pretty invested, and I think was probably the highlight of the night. So I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. And you definitely see they're setting up for Edge's retirement later this year, but now let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the championship match. Roman Reigns versus Cody. If you have anything to do with wrestling on your social media, you already know how this match turned out, because it was kind of controversial. And in my opinion, was the wrong decision. But so anyway, the match was I think very well contested. There was a few spots I really loved in the match, which was when Kevin and Sami came out at one point and got their comeuppance on the Usos a little bit. And then when Cody was getting close to the end of the match, Cody used not only his finisher, but he used Goldust's signature move. He used a few of Dusty's signature moves throughout the match and at that point. So I thought that was a great homage to his family. which is why I thought he was going to win. And then when he didn't, I was very, very angry and disappointed. So it got a very visceral reaction from me. Overall, the match was fairly good, though. I think it could have been better, but I don't think it was the best match of the night. And definitely the outcome kind of spoiled the match, in my opinion. So given that, I'm going to give this match a 6.5 out of 10. So, if you're keeping score between night 1 and night 2, in my opinion, night 1 was far better, and I think they did not do a good job in breaking up the matches. So I think they should have split up some of those really good matches from night 1 and switched a few matches around and made it more even over the 2 nights, because there was definitely more highlights in night 1 than there was in night 2, especially when it comes to celebrities. I mean, they had a lot of celebrities appear in the first night, and nobody really appeared in the second night, other than Snoop Dogg, who was in both nights. So, you know, no guest appearances, nothing like that. So I think they missed the mark on keeping both nights even. But hopefully, on the final note, hopefully this the Cody Rhodes storyline isn't over and they're building to something bigger. But man, it's disappointing to say the least. Yeah. So thank you for watching, everyone who has watched these videos. Had a lot of fun talking about wrestling, and I'll probably do some more of these in the future for the bigger events. But if this is something you like, definitely let me know in the comments, and it's something that I can keep doing in the future. So, just like yesterday, everyone like, share, subscribe, and have yourselves a wonderful week.